Hello and welcome to week 12. For week 12, I wanted to give you a preview of what project number 3 is going to look like. So what I've included is a diagram. You have done your project number 2, that's your introduction. Your methods are primary research part 1. Your results, your discussion and conclusion are your primary research part 3. So you're going to put this all together. This is going to become project number 3. So as I said in the beginning of the semester, we've been building towards it. We've been, working on aspects of this project all semester. Once you've put it together, which is really coming in week 13, you're going to do what we call a reverse outline. So you're going to put these parts together. You're going to count how many paragraphs you have in this newly formed project number 3, and then you're just going to work through what the main idea is of each of these paragraphs. And you'll notice that explains the participants of the survey. These paragraphs aren't going to change too much for any of you because they're all the same, but it's this first part. You'll figure out where your counter argument might need to go. You're going to move your conclusion down. Things like that are going to need to happen once you put these two parts together. But ultimately, what this will help you do is self-check the flow. Does anything need to be moved now that you've put this all together? And you'll have to make that decision, make the adjustments to the outline, and then submit the outline. But really, it's created for you to do a self-check of your organization. I've also given you an example of, or not an example, sorry. I have given you an example, but I've given you one more visual to walk you through how, you'll put these together. Here's your project number 2. It's your literature review and your conclusion. You've added your primary research. But what you're going to want to consider is, do you need to expand the introduction now that you've put these together? Where might you put the counter argument? You'll obviously need to move the conclusion to the very end, but do you need to add to it? So you're going to want to make some of those decisions as you put these two pieces together. And as I said, we do have a sample of project number 3. And again, remember, the project number 2 portion should have those level 2 headings in there to kind of group the categories of your topic. And then as you move into the methods portion, you'll have that level 2 heading. You'll have your level 3 headings that are italicized for that, the methods part, which includes your participants, instrumentation, data collection, and data analysis. And then you'll go back to the level 2 headings for the results, limitations, and discussion. Remember, the discussion portion should include both primary and secondary research because you're pulling them together in that portion. But again, this whole review section is a preview for what's coming. What your job is for this week is to finish up this primary research. And you're going to put together parts 1 and parts 2. Remember, your part 1 you worked on last week that had your participants, instrumentation, and data collection. You're going to add to it. You're going to have your data analysis, your results, your limitations, and your discussion. You have information in the review section from last week to walk you through what each of those portions should include. But remember, the data analysis is the raw data. The results is the interpretation of that data. So what does it mean? The limitations are the limitations to your study. We can talk about things like that we only had a couple of weeks to gather data, that self-reported data might have its own limitations. There's a variety of things that could have limited the information that you receive from that survey. And then finally, the discussion brings it all together. You should cite the ways that your secondary research and primary research agree with each other, and ways that they might diverge from each other, and explain why. So those are the pieces that are, that's all of it will be put together, and you'll include that appendix, and that's due on Sunday this week at 11:59 p.m. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.